This is Gary Atensi with CNTV, and today we're in Boulder, Colorado. I am here at Boulder Quest. Since 2005, they've been helping you unleash your potential by living life fully, fearlessly, and freely. I am here with the owner, the ninja creator, the trainer, everything if you will. Thanks so much for joining us, Mary. Let's start off a little bit about yourself. You began pretty much in this industry, if you will, as a white belt. You moved yourself up. We're talking about a fourth-degree black belt. People know you not only as a martial artist, trainer, but also as an entrepreneur, really, in this industry. Share with me a little bit how it is you got started.
Well, I started training in this art in 1998 back in North Carolina. And in less than a year, I was so surprised and so astonished by what changed, not just in my ability to protect myself, but in my ability to really feel good about myself. And I knew that that was a power that I wanted to share with other people. And so I was doing a Naropa graduate program, and that brought me to Boulder. And I decided to accelerate my 5-year plan by 5 years and opened the school, and now we've got a big thriving community and we're doing great things.
You didn't mess around, you went right at it. Let me ask you this. We live in really a kind of a go-go, fast-paced society, really overly stressed society when you think about it. We're striving between the balance of clarity of mind, yet at the same time a fit body. Why is this type of training possibly more in need today than back in the 98s when you got involved?
Well, I think it's so important that we focus on fitness of the body and of the mind, because we do have so much stimulation coming in. We've got phones and iPads and phablets and televisions and smart TVs, and it can be really overwhelming. And so if we learn how to be in action with a clear mind, there is so much we can accomplish in the world when we can take that state of being out into whatever we're doing.
Wonderful. Like you said, you got into it for self-defense. You teach self-defense now, but you also teach life mastery. And we're talking about techniques and tools you can use in any area. You do this with a very specific martial art. Share with us what the type you entail.
So our art is called Toshindo, and that's actually a kind of sneaky way of saying ninjutsu. Because if you took the characters, it's like a Japanese pun in the way kanji works. So we say Toshindo, it means way of the heart sword. So it's about having that full heart and compassion and the decisive action to really stand up for what needs to be present in the world.
We're talking about the art of ninja. That's kind of cool. Share with me how these warrior disciplines are able to basically help us today with our challenges and confrontations that we may come across.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at 900 years of history of martial arts from different families of training who were needing to answer different questions. And then we have our own modern day questions that we need to answer. So our founder has taken all of this classical material and then studied what are the common problems, what are the common attacks that happen in the United States, and how do we teach people to feel empowered, to be able to handle those physical problems when they come up, and then how do we use those as a metaphor, because luckily not everyone's going to get attacked, but we all have conflict that arises in our life, and so all our responses are scalable. So there's a way when we're practicing these physical defenses that we're also practicing our mind defenses, and we're learning all the different ways that we get stuck and how we unstuck ourselves from those moments.
So what you're basically saying is we're talking about an ancient techniques and art that has been handed down through family lineage year after year, yet we're talking about an intelligent, modern approach that you can use today. Quite honestly, it's just one martial art, but yet it's probably one that you will never master in a whole lifetime.
I sometimes say we're the original mixed martial art because we're stand-up fighting, we're grappling, we're on the ground, we've got swords, we've got knife, we've got throwing stars, we can work gun defenses and stuff like that. So really we're one art, but we're a really big art.
What do you mean when you say cultivate personal safety, cultivate your own personal power? What do you mean by that?
So all of us are really awesome beings, right? And a sculpture, if you have the plain rock and then you knock out the parts that aren't the sculpture, I look at the human being that way. That what we are really doing is helping you clear away the stuff that's not you, the stuff that's gotten in your way, other people's stories and projections that they've placed on you and asked you to carry. You can put those down. And that's what we help you do, so that you can be what we call a tatsujin, a fully actualized human being.
Clarity, very focused on what you should be in life. That is wonderful. Obviously, it's self-defense like we just spoke about, but I also see this as very important, not only of self-defense of yourself, but being able to protect your loved ones, being able to protect your family. Is that something people find that is quite helpful?
Absolutely. The path of the protector is one of our elements before you get to black belt, because first you learn how to protect yourself, how to get all the time and the space you need, how to recognize that you are worth protecting. And then you also get to learn, well, how do I step in and protect others? How do I stand up when I see bullying or injustices in the world? How do I intervene in a way that makes greater safety for everyone?
Wonderful. Let's start off, first of all, by sharing with the viewers out there where this takes place, where the training takes place. We're talking about a special place called a dojo. What should people look for when they're looking for one, and possibly to call their home?
The most important thing to look for in a dojo is the people. Talk to the teachers, talk to the students, try a class. We offer free classes here because I really want you to know that this is the right fit for you. But really knowing the community and who the people are, because the techniques aren't the hard part. The body movements you can learn pretty quickly in most martial arts. And so really the mind part, the spiritual part, the ethical part is really key. And so look for that when you're interviewing people about where they want to be. Do you want to be a happy, bright, vibrant person? Look for a school that's got vibrant, bright, happy people.
Interesting. So it's very much about the people that you see in the dojo as much as the actual facility itself. Quite honestly, our personal goals, our personal needs, personal development needs, as well as our defense needs, they change as we are smaller, as we get older. You've really got classes here for everyone. Let's start off, first of all, the dragons. What do you learn in that class there?
So that's our 4 to 7-year-olds. And that class is really about learning to know that there is a world. Right? You've got legs and arms, and you can walk and jump, and you could jump with 1 foot or 2, right? So it's these great ways of discovering the world that are what we're working on with them. And we also do a life skills patch every month. So this month we're talking about enthusiasm. Effort was our one in December, compassion in November. So every month we're taking one of these skills that is on the mental side, and we're talking about it. What are these words? What do they mean? What do they look like in your life?
How cool that is. I mean, it's amazing we weren't taught that in school when we were growing up. I mean, those are the kind of things we use every day, yet they're not taught. Then you get into the older youth, up to age 16. Share with me what they're going to learn there.
So we're an interesting program because our youth and adults all train in exactly the same physical material. But our teaching style is a little different in a youth class versus an adult class. Because, for instance, youth are motivated by doing. Like, they just want to keep going. But an adult's motivated by understanding. They want to know the intellectual piece that goes along with the physical piece. And so our teaching styles vary a little bit. So that's why we have separate age groups for them. So that we can teach to both needs.
But essentially learning the same thing. Like you say, we're talking about adults from age 17 up to probably 70 or you name it. You've been able to help folks all across the board.
I say I teach ages 4 to forever.
Oh, that's a great age. That's a perfect age. Mary, you were trained under that of Stephen Hayes. Your trainers are trained in the same way. You basically are able to utilize what they call 5 elements. Share with me what that is.
Sure. We use the 5 elements of earth, water, fire, wind, and void. And each of these represents not just a physical way of moving, but an emotional way of being. So when we're under stress, we feel certain ways. And depending on the stressor that's coming in, we feel differently. And when we feel differently, our physical movements available to us are also different. So each one is a mental and physical that works together, one to help you recognize when you're in a particular state, and then when you're in that state, how to move most effectively, how to get the best results so that you can win from any situation.
Wonderful. One of the things that I notice is a dojo is a very special learning place. I've read some of the testimonials online, and the kids seem to really enjoy it for the fact that it almost becomes like a family to them. Is that important for you when you opened up?
It's really important to me. And one of the things that's true in the way our society is built right now is it's very age segregated. First graders are with first graders, second graders are with second graders. In the adult world, we tend to have people at our peer level who are the same age. And so when you come here and you've got a mixed group, like you might have police officers training with doctors who are training with housewives, and you've got this spectrum of ages and of lifestyles and where they come from, what they're accomplishing in the world. And when you bring that all together for a common purpose, it's amazing the connections people make and how much bigger their world gets to have all of these people that they can connect with.
What an exciting dynamic, seeing it all come together. You pride yourself on the fact that you teach more than just memorizing technique. We're talking about whole body and learning that can affect pretty much all areas of your life.
We teach how to make decisions. So whether it's recognizing if a straight punch is coming in or a hook punch, or recognizing what's the best day for me to ask for a raise. That's what decision making teaches you, and that's what we pride ourselves on.
You call it adventure-based learning. Share with me what that is, why you decided to use that word adventure.
Because being a ninja is cool. Like, it's so much fun to really be engaged in the world. And for me, when I'm out adventuring, I'm really exploring and I'm finding new places and I'm meeting new people. And when I come in the dojo or I travel to another dojo, I'm really exploring new things. I'm exploring new parts of myself, finding new depths, new challenges, and then I'm meeting new people and broadening my world. So it really is an adventure every day of training. And I've been doing this now for 18 years and I still love it.
That is wonderful. Viewers, take a look at the bottom of the screen right there. What you're going to see is their website. First of all, on the website, you're going to learn a little bit more about the actual art that they teach here. We're talking about it's basically a simple one art, but it's comprehensive. We're talking about quite a few techniques all under one roof going on here. Like she says, it's kind of an adventure when it comes to learning that. I mean, you're never going to get something where you actually master anything like this. It's just a learning process. Does that make it enjoyable and challenging for people who have been doing it for years and years?
I think so, and that's what the people who've been training with me for years and years tell me. So it really is something that keeps you engaged, and I never want to get to the point in my life where I'm not growing and changing. I want to be that woman who's 90 years old and showing off her kata on YouTube and sitting down to interview with you again, and being that kind of vibrant depth and sharing all of what I've learned. Like, I want to keep growing, and the people like me who love to engage with the world like that, they join me here. Speaking
of people like you yourself, you know what it feels like to start out as a white belt. Start out and progress up through the ranks there is exciting and rewarding to be able to encourage others what's actually possible.
It really is. I love that moment when a student's eyes light up. When I see them get that breakthrough, when they know the world is bigger, that more is possible, that's the reason I teach. That's the moment that I live for.
Wonderful. Viewers, last time, take a look at the bottom of the screen right there. You're going to see her contact information. On the screen, you can see the website, and really it's just a matter of filling out a form right there to contact them. And if this is something you've never done before and you're not sure if it was for you, they have a free class to help you get right involved. Really a way to really test out the water and see if this is something that you would enjoy. You can also take a look on their website there. Their complete programs are available there, what days they're available, the hours they're available as well, and basically understand that this is something you can start out individually or as a family, a great way to bond as well. That is Boulder Quest since 2005, life mastery through martial arts. This is Gary Atensi with CNTV, and if you don't know, now you know. This is Gary Atensi with CNTV, and today we're in Denver, Colorado. I am here with Norm Services, brand new for 2015. They have been providing companies the capability of cost-effectively protecting their workers, their facilities, environment. I'm here with the president, Robert. Thanks so much for joining us here today. Let's start off a little bit about yourself. Share with me a little bit. This is a company that is really you have created here, brand new for 2015. Tell me a little bit about yourself and what you were doing to get here.
Sure. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure. I've been in this business for over 25 years and specialize in radioactive materials. And I've had other companies in the past. My most recent company was purchased by a major international corporation. I have since left that company and started Norm Services. This is the company that I've always dreamed of creating, and here we are, and we're moving forward, and we are excited. I have a wonderful team of top-notch professionals working for the company. And
let's start off with the name first of all, Norm Services. What is that acronym and what does it mean?
NORM stands for Naturally Occurring Radioactive Materials. So it is an acronym. That is the name of the company.
Let me ask you this, naturally occurring. Why don't we define for the viewers out there, first of all, what radioactivity is? I mean, many viewers may not know what that is.
Radioactivity is an energy, and it exists naturally in the Earth's crust. So it exists everywhere on the planet. So when we do things like oil and gas operations and water treatment, we're pulling water or oil and gas out of the earth. And with that comes the norm. It just naturally comes. So it is a part of everyone's everyday life.
It's amazing. Share with me some of the clients you've worked with, not only with the company here, but in the past 25 years. What type of clients are you able to service? Are we talking about different sizes of companies as well?
Yes, we service all size companies. On the water treatment end of things, we're dealing with major municipalities, the biggest cities in the country. We're also helping out very small towns. We have homeowners associations that might have 50 residents on a well, and they have naturally occurring radioactive materials, NORM, in their water, which needs to be filtered out so that it is safe for people to drink. So that's on the water treatment end of things. On the oil and gas side of things, obviously there's a lot of oil and gas operations going on, and we work with the largest corporations in the world and some of the small companies because it is a worldwide issue.
Quite a vast services that you provide. Let's start with one of them here, a radiological survey on the front end. What is that, and what does it provide for companies?
Radiological survey is more or less going on a facility and determining if there is radioactive materials that we can detect with instruments.
Let me ask you this. Are we talking about, what about sites that companies are thinking about building on? I mean, are you able to test the actual character of those sites on the front end, or is this something you do after the facility's been built?
Both. Yeah, it is very important for companies that are acquiring properties in property transfers to evaluate the environmental status of the property. A lot of the properties, especially in oil and gas operations, they've been used for oil and gas for many, many decades. So it is important that they identify if there is previous impact to that piece of land. And then we also work on the back end and we help them manage the liability and protect their employees and take care of the environmental issues in compliance with all the regulations. We do regulatory compliance for our customers and help them navigate through the regulations. They are different in every single state. So depending on what type of material we're dealing with, radioactive materials, it's naturally occurring, exists everywhere on Earth. It can be at very low levels or it can be concentrated at very high levels. So that will dictate how we approach the problem.
Speaking of approaching the problem, obviously if you go in, you find some of this material, if you will, it needs to be removed. Many times it needs to be disposed of. It needs to be transported away. Transportation, disposal, is that all what you provide as well?
Yes, absolutely. And there are specific regulations with regard to qualifications for transporters, and the disposal facilities are selected based on the type of material that we're dealing with. Higher level radioactive materials, the disposal options are limited. And what we provide for our clients is regulatory approved audited facilities so that it is liability protection for the companies, and they know that the material is in a safe place away from members of the public in a licensed permitted facility.
Interesting. I mean, it took basically a quarter of a century probably to manifest a lot of experience in this particular industry. Obviously, you're able to help folks when it comes to regulatory assistance, even being called on for as an expert witness. These are all areas that you're able to provide.
Yes, that's correct. Yes, that's very common.
Some of the things that I see out there with folks is, as we said at the beginning, this is about safety of people as well as their facility as well. You talked a little bit about awareness, training awareness. How important is it for you to educate folks out there?
It is very important. Many companies do not realize that they have a norm issue. And we go in and we educate them because we know that it exists 100% of the time. And a lot of the radionuclides that we're dealing with, they decay over time. But the decay period of time for radium, for example, is very prevalent in most of the oil and gas basins as well as water treatment, in the groundwater. Radium, the half-life, meaning it starts to decay after 1,600 years, actually a little bit larger. So this is a problem that's not going away anytime soon.
As you said before, this was a company, this idea basically was probably in the back of your mind throughout these years of putting together a real specialty company. You've gone out and you've handpicked employees that work with you. Basically, it's serious business. You basically say you take it personal because everyone has to be on the same page with all the same principles. Has it been rewarding so far?
Absolutely. We have developed a team of the best in the business, and I'm very fortunate to have people on our staff that are excited, and the mission that we have is to help people. So that is, really my mission for the company is to help the people, because since it's going to be around for such a long time, we're looking at protecting generations of people. So it's for the kids. we want to protect our children.
Definitely doing your part in going green. We hear a lot about that with a lot of companies we've done. Viewers, take a look at the bottom of the screen right there. You're going to see their website. On the website, you can find their contact information. You can also take a look at the services they provide there as well. And really, it's just as easy as reaching out to them and finding out if this is a service they can provide for you. We're talking about a company brand new in 2015, but the president has 25 years in this industry. They are basically there to serve you and protect not only the environment, but the public as well. This is Gary Atensi with CNTV. And if you don't know, now you know.